trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah, and this is your Sunday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let me just say a happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Now, with that all being said, let's see who all is in here. Okay, we got Natasha, Vince I Am from the UK, Dangerous, 57 Beige Fox, Pearly, Mr. Elevation, Aquarius Rising, Cookie. All right, let's get into it. Deronda, Claudette. Okay, shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. Okay, now, so before we get started, hey, Natasha, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so now let's get into some of these war updates, and then we have to talk about the hantavirus. Okay, new information just came out on that a few hours ago. So, first of all, they say Iran says it has responded to the US's proposal for ending the war. So this is the latest. They say Iran has sent its response to the latest U.S. proposal for ending the war through a Pakistani mediator, according to state media. Now, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Qatar's Prime Minister yesterday to discuss the war, according to a source. Now, an Iranian military official warned countries enforcing sanctions against Iran will face problems when their vessels use the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran earlier said it would launch a heavy assault on U.S. assets in the Middle East if its ships face further attacks during the ceasefire. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, at least 22 people, including 4 children, were killed in an Israeli attack in Lebanon on Saturday. State-run media reported this information, citing the Lebanese health ministry. Now, the Israel military said it killed 10 Hezbollah members and struck the group's infrastructure sites in southern Lebanon. Okay, and then meanwhile, Satan Yahoo came out and gave a statement saying that there's more work to be done in Iran. This is what he said as he acknowledged that Tehran retains many of the capabilities it had at the start of the war. Now, in an interview with CBS 60 Minutes, he said the joint U.S. war on Iran accomplished a great deal, but it's not over. He said Iran has not given up its enriched uranium or dismantled its nuclear sites, nor has it stopped supporting its regional proxies or agreed to any limits to its ballistic missile program. Okay, now we've degraded a lot of it, but all of that is still there, and there's work to be done, Satan Yahoo said in a preview of the full interview. First of all, let's talk about the list of things he's done. Okay, he should be sitting in a court on trial right now for crimes against humanity, okay, and also war crimes, to say the least. So anyway, he's the last one who should be talking, is all I'm saying. All right, now, with that all being said, he further went on to say, or they said the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations said Sunday the world's economy can't continue to be held hostage by Iran as the U.S. weighs the latest peace proposal from its adversary. Now, the world should not tolerate an Iranian regime that's trying to choke off the entire world's economy. This is what U.S. ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, said in an interview with Fox News on Sunday. So it cannot just start throwing sea mines indiscriminately out into the ocean, attacking shipping, he says. They've even now started talking about an Iranian state TV of taking the undersea cables that move financial data, cloud information, and all kinds of important economic information in and out of the Gulf. Well, that's probably true, but whose fault is it? Yeah, it's Trump's, because he started this whole thing when none of this was going on prior. So let's not act like it's Iran's fault, okay? Because anyone in war is going to do what they have to do to defend themselves and their country. That's just a given. This is all Trump's fault that we arrived here at this moment in time. Now, with that all being said, Waltz's comments come as Iran has sent its response to the latest U.S. proposal for ending the war through a Pakistani mediator, and this is according to Iranian state media. They say, we'll see what the Iranians just came back with overnight in terms of their response to our very clear red line. This is what Waltz said. President Donald Trump has been clear. They will never have a nuclear weapon and they cannot hold the world's economies hostage. But as the tension continues, Waltz made clear that while the U.S. is prepared for the resumption of military hostilities, Trump wants to focus on diplomacy. Oh, now he wants to talk about diplomacy? I find that interesting, don't you? Now he wants to have diplomacy talks. He's given diplomacy every chance that he can before going back to hostilities. This is what Waltz said on ABC's This Week. Please sit down somewhere. Okay? Trump is he's not hardly going to be diplomatic. He's going to be talking crazy, making threats, okay, and just acting a whole fool as he often does because he can't help himself. Okay, he just cannot help himself. Now, let's talk about this hantavirus-stricken ship, is what they call it. Yeah, they say passengers disembark hantavirus hit cruise ship. What's next? Well, I'll tell you what's next. What's next is after we talk about this ship, we're going to talk about another ship that's not really making the news. Okay, and that's the one from Disney with all the pervs on it. Okay, 28 people arrested. But anyway, I digress. Let's go to the footage. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Started to disembark the cruise ship at the center of a hantavirus outbreak. The MV Hondius is anchored at the port of Grenadilla in the Canary Islands. Passengers are being escorted off the ship according to their home country.
So the plan will be that the ship will anchor and that there will be small boats that will take some of the passengers, and it will be done in a very choreographed, coordinated way, in a very protected way. Bring those passengers to shore. There will be a screening that will take place. Right now, there's nobody on board that has any symptoms, including passengers and crew. That's great news.
Centers for Disease Control officials will be there to escort 17 Americans back home. Now, none has symptoms, but they will go to a special facility in Nebraska for monitoring. After that, they will self-monitor for 6 weeks at home. CNN's Melissa Bell is live from the Canary Island of Tenerife. Melissa, good to see you. Tell us what happens next.
So what we've seen over the course of the last couple of hours, Daniel, there's very first small boatloads of people being taken off the virus-stricken ship and onto shore. Once on shore, taken onto these buses that are ferrying them on to the airport where their airplanes are waiting for them. The first batch of people to be taken off the ship were Spanish. They are even now making their way onto that flight that will take them onto Madrid, Danny, where they will be taken to a military hospital and kept in quarantine for 7 days, monitored, no visits for them. So whilst this part of the ordeal is over for these passengers, remember that whatever their home country is, there's a whole process ahead of them.
Okay, so they have to stay 7 days in the military hospital, and then they have isolation and all of that. But my question is, where's the guy that took off and fled? Okay, where is that man who fled that they were looking for on yesterday? Hold on, let's go to this clip where they have the hazmat crew. Yeah, I just have several questions. They had a whole manhunt for this guy, and I have not heard anything about them having found this person as of yet. And who knows if they are sick or not.
The first sighting of the ship at the heart of the deadly virus outbreak. Nearly a month after the first passenger died on board, there it is, the MV Hondius, about to finally anchor. And as the sun rose, crews in hazmat suits began the complicated task of screening and getting more than 100 passengers off the ship without potentially exposing themselves or the public to the virus. Some of those on board documenting the last leg of a journey tracked around the world. The global media descending on the Spanish island of Tenerife at this remote port far removed from the public. On board are 17 Americans, including a doctor who stepped in to help when the virus broke out. With buses ready to take them at a nearby airport where repatriation flights and medical aircraft are on standby. Passengers told to socially distance out of an abundance of caution.
This is not COVID. In COVID, we've all been traumatized by how people you didn't even think were sick were already spreading it. That we have no reason to believe that that's happening here.
A complex evacuation, Spanish officials say, has never been done before, involving 23 different countries and this recommendation from the World Health Organization.
What we do recommend is the active monitoring and follow-up of all of the passengers and crew who disembark for a 42-day period. That doesn't mean 42 days from now or from tomorrow. It actually means 42 days from the last point of exposure.
With 6 people infected and 3 dead, it could be weeks before we know if this outbreak has finally been contained. Meanwhile, officials are keeping a close eye on the weather. You can't really tell now, but bad weather is on the horizon, which could delay the evacuation. The goal really is to have everybody, all the passengers, out by tomorrow. Back to you.
And we hope everyone is safe. Danielle Hamamdan starting us off in the Canary Islands.
Okay, well, that's all scary, like I said. I find it all interesting. Now, with that all being said, though, let's talk about this Disney cruise ship, because that's not getting a lot of media coverage, and there really isn't much information about it, except for just a little bit of information. And then also, not only that, there was another cruise ship that was canceled, okay, because of the pervs. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, here we go. This is all crazy. Disney cruise staff members detained, escorted off of the ship in a child sex abuse material case. I've been telling you all about Disney since 2020. Okay, did a whole expose on them and all the pervs that have worked there, right? And how they don't want to participate in the stings when the police do them. Now, why would they not want to do that? Clearly for nefarious reasons, no less. Passengers of a Disney cruise ship reportedly watched as multiple staffers were escorted off the ship in handcuffs following a probe into a child sex abuse material case. Okay, now between April the 23rd and 27th, authorities with Customs and Border Protection, known as CBP, detained 28 crew members across 8 cruise ships docked in San Diego. One of those ships included the Disney Magic, according to an outlet. Now, CBP says 27 of the 28 crew members arrested were involved in either the receipt, the possession, transportation, distribution, or the viewing of CSAM. Okay, y'all know what that is, child porn. Okay, child porn. 26 of those detained were from the Philippines. Another crew member was from Indonesia, and the other was from Portugal. CBP says all of those detained are being returned to their countries of citizenship. A Disney Magic passenger, Dharmi Mehta, took a video of the arrest and shared it with the KGTV News. It shows at least 4 CBP officers detaining several Disney cruise employees. So, darn shame. And then they say, we have a zero tolerance policy for this type of behavior. Do you really? And fully cooperative with law enforcement. This is what a spokesperson for Disney Cruise Line told Variety, saying that while the majority of these individuals were not from our cruise line, those who were are no longer with the company. Please, miss me with it, honey. The stories that we've all heard about Disney. All right. And so, yeah, them talking about most of them didn't work with them. And here's a picture of the, hold on, I think this is a clip of the arrest. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Here we go. And let me tell you all something, just so you all know, I couldn't even start the live this morning or this afternoon. What do you call it? StreamYard kept saying there was too much traffic, and I had to keep waiting and waiting. Hold on, I didn't mean to share that wrong thing. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, I had too many tabs open. All right, so here we go.
Migration groups demanding answers after they say CBP detained workers from 2 cruise ships docked here in San Diego. The incident late last month captured on video. It's unclear where the workers are now. ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo spoke with a witness who says the employees were still in uniform when they were escorted off the ship.
It was actually a Disney cruise passenger that notified local immigration groups about what she saw. She was disembarking the Disney Magic that was docked right here when she says she noticed CBP was detaining Disney cruise employees.
Go that way, go that way. Why?
This is the video that immigration advocates say shows Customs and Border Protection detaining several Disney Cruise employees late last month. It was taken by Darmi Mehta, a passenger on the cruise.
But it wasn't until they turned around that you could read the back where it says Customs and Border. But it still said, police or officer.
The video appears to show at least 4 CBP officers with people detained, hands behind their back. Mehta says the Disney employees were still in uniform when she saw them being walked off the ship. She believes one was her main server on the cruise.
So he was full in uniform, which was in a blazer tie. Some of the other employees were still in their chef's uniforms with their name tags on it.
Mehta notified Unión del Barrio, a local immigration advocacy group who in a press conference Tuesday with other community groups demanded answers about where the workers are now. Unión del Barrio says about 10 Disney employees were detained by CBP on April 23rd, and 2 days later, 4 from a Holland America ship.
There's our responsibility as society, as working people, to really denounce these actions.
I reached out to Customs and Border Protection for details about what happened, and they told us they're working on getting us a response.
I mean, it is unusual in the fact that you don't see it too often.
But as maritime attorney Michael Winkleman explains, CBP does have jurisdiction on any ship in a U.S. port, as do other federal agencies like the FBI.
CBP obviously had a reason to go on there. It could have been something criminal. It could have been something visa related. It really could have been any number of other things.
Holland America told me in a statement that this is a law enforcement matter and that they cooperate with law enforcement investigations in jurisdictions where they operate and referred all other questions to CBP. Disney never responded to our request for information. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Laura covers the South Bay and immigration. If you have a story for us, scan the QR code on your screen.
All right. Well, you all heard that. Mr. Elevation said the nefariousness is embedded in their skin. My goodness, you are so wrong for that, beloved. Okay, so anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, they say that Iran, or not Iran, I'm sorry, Hezbollah injured 3 IDF soldiers in a strike. Hold on, I'm waiting for this to load. The Hezbollah drones wound 3 It's Not Real soldiers as IDF strikes scores of targets in Lebanon. A reserve It's Not Real Defense Forces soldier was seriously wounded, and an officer and another reserve soldier were moderately injured Saturday after explosive drones detonated in the Shlami area near the Lebanese border, as Hezbollah continued launching drones toward It's Not Real forces, and the It's Not Real military carried out strikes across Lebanon. Now, wounded soldiers were evacuated to a hospital for treatment, and that their families have been notified, according to military reports. Several aerial launches directed at soldiers in southern Lebanon were intercepted with no casualties reported. Lebanese media reported that 12 people were killed on Saturday in southern Lebanon during It's Not Real airstrikes. Earlier Sunday, the It's Not Real military instructed residents in several villages in southern Lebanon to evacuate. Okay. And they basically were trying to hide the fact or bury the story about how Iran really hit It's Not Real's command centers. Okay. That was maybe a couple of months ago. I see they hit that real good in the news. Iran launched multiple large-scale missile strikes against It's Not Real, with reports indicating hits on various locations, including areas near critical military and intelligence infrastructure. While Iran claimed to have struck intelligence command centers, It's Not Real confirmed damage from hits on both civilian and military targets during the extensive weeks-long operation. Iran's military claimed to have struck an It's Not Real military intelligence center in Tel Aviv. Missiles damaged military sites, and according to Iran International, as well as locations near the Wikipedia Dimona nuclear research facility and a commercial refinery in Haifa. Now, these events were part of intense exchanges with about 650 ballistic missiles fired and is not real, leading to casualties, injuries, and significant damage in what American Jewish Committee describes as a defining ongoing war. In return, the IDF reportedly struck numerous command centers, missile sites, or the IDF reported striking numerous command centers, missile sites, and IRGC-linked facilities within Iran, according to Iran International. Okay, so like they were going at it, but I find it interesting that, the U.S., through the Trump administration, and Netanyahu, they will lie about the damage or the injuries and the dead. Okay, they just keep lying about it, in my opinion. Now, with that all being said, so it looks like Kamala is back on the scene, in case you guys missed it. So she did an interview in Vegas days ago, and I showed you all a clip the other day. And but Kamala is now giving the okay for them to request the 2024 election autopsy. Okay, so let's get into it. Before we do, let's go to this clip. Hold on. Likes up, everyone, please. A like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
So I got to see and meet Kamala Harris yesterday. And in her fireside chat here in Vegas, she said this.
What do you think about what's happening right now? War in Iran, which the American people do not want, which was not authorized by conference, but even if it was, it should not have been initiated. He talked about obliterating, and then he said, oh, he did. It's all just bullshit.
Now, for full transparency, I clipped those together because her answer to that question was more than 18 minutes long. But it did sum up in just those few words what she had to say about Donald Trump's current presidency. And we have gotten to see over the last 1 year and 5 months how much of a moron this guy has been in his presidency. The vast majority of everything that he promised, everything that he said he was going to do has turned out to be nothing but a monumental piece of bullshit. Just like Kamala Harris said yesterday, his plan for Greenland, bullshit. His plan for Canada, bullshit. His plan for tariffs, bullshit. His plan for all of these wars and or peacemaking, bullshit. Is your life better right now? He promised that he would have energy prices cut in half. Are energy prices after a year cut in half? No, they are rising. He said affordability in your food prices would be down. Are the food prices and affordability issues down? No, he has called them bullshit. Is your gas prices now? No. In many places, they have doubled just since February when he got us into this pointless war with Iran. Is immigration still an issue? Yes, immigration is still an issue. It's still an issue because in order to achieve his goals, he is shitting on the lives of American citizens. Yes, immigration is still an issue because he hasn't put through any kind of legislation to fix it. Just executive orders after executive orders, pretending that he is a king instead of actually doing the work to go through Congress, talk to both sides, and come up with a fix for our issues. Do women feel safe? No, women are not safe because their bodies are not their own anymore. Donald Trump promised you safety. He promised you freedom. And all he has done is shit on the Constitution and shit on American citizens' rights. And all he is doing now is trying to make sure that he can cheat the system so that way his people, his side, can remain into office, and therefore he can continue fucking around with your Constitution and fucking around with you and your freedoms every single day for another 2.5 more years. Don't let that happen. You need to pay attention to every election that is coming down the line. Your state and local elections, your comptrollers, your state assembly members, your state Congress, your state Supreme Courts, your judges, anything and everything that you can vote for. You take 5 minutes to read through the list, learn about your candidates, and you take your butt into those offices and you vote. You take your butt to the polls and you vote. My name is Robert Smith. I'm running for Nevada State Assembly, District 17, and I am asking for your vote because I know that it is in my heart, it is in every part of my being to make sure that I protect you and your rights that are in the Constitution of this United States and in these Nevada Constitution. With that said,
All right, he went on a whole rant, but no lies detected. Okay, absolutely none detected. Hold on. Now I see, first off, DSB, thank you, beloved, for being a member of the channel and also for your kind words saying, keep up the amazing work, my warrior sister. Thank you, beloved. I intend to. And I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let me say this. I see some of you all saying that Kamala isn't any better or whatever. Here's the thing, though. Anybody is better than Trump. That's for number one. I don't know who could be worse than Trump other than the devil himself. But with that all being said, and I even have questions as to that. But with that all being said, you're going to have to vote for somebody. Okay? For those of you who are talking about sitting on the couch, let me just tell you something. You can sit on the couch if you want to, but when you get more of the same, when the Republicans continue to be in power, don't be crying. Okay? Because I think it's safe to assume that no matter what you feel about the Democrats, the Republicans are absolutely 100 times worse. Okay? They're the ones trying to take away your rights. They're the ones trying to send you back to Jim Crow. Okay, they're the ones allowing ICE to murder people in broad daylight on the streets without any type of punishment or consequences. They're the ones that are allowing these young girls to be getting R-worded and S-assaulted in these ICE detention centers and then coming up pregnant. They're the ones doing all of that. So please, let's not sit here and talk about who is just as bad, because Kamala is not just as bad as Trump until we see her doing all the BS that Trump has done, which I seriously doubt. First of all, she isn't that stupid. And you have to be a whole level of stupid to do many of the things that Trump has in fact done at the end of the day. Now, with that all being said, and then he said, Shahid Bosin said, the people who run the country are not on the ballot. You're voting for middle management at best. Well, Nene, you've been doing that your whole life. So why are you now saying something about it because Shahid Bosin said it? You've already known that, or at least you should. We already know who runs this country. We already know that presidents are nothing more than figureheads. How many times have I even told you that presidents are selected, not elected? So with that all being said, the bottom line is there are some that are not as intelligent as others and can be persuaded to do a myriad of things that we don't want them to do. Okay, well, Lillian, I know you can't get with her, but can you get with Donald Trump or JD Vance? Like, y'all sound ridiculous. You're going to have to vote for somebody. Nobody's asking you to like the other person. I'm voting for whoever is running against the Republicans, period. Okay, that's who I'm voting for. Whoever is running against the Republicans, period. At the end of the day. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about it, because Craig says the Democrats are no better. Well, let me ask you this. Have the Democrats taken away or gutted the Voting Rights Act? Have they tried to stop Black people from voting? Craig, Lillian X, Nene, I'm asking all of you a question. Please put a 1 if yes, a 2 if no. Have the Democrats tried to gut the Voting Rights Act? Have the Democrats tried to stop Black people and other minorities from voting as of late? Have they allowed ICE to go out here and kill random people and get away with it? I mean, do you all hear yourselves? Do you all hear yourselves? All you can say about Kamala is stuff that she did 10 or 15 years ago, and then that she talks with word salad or whatever. But should we get into what Trump has done? Should we start bringing up the things that Trump has done that directly impact Black people? I have several questions. Well, you know, Claudette, they all could or not, but the bottom line is somebody's going to be in charge, period. Okay, and for all of you who saying you're going to vote from the couch, all you're doing is helping the Republicans to stay in power. So when ish hits the fan, don't come crying like MAGA, like some of the MAGA who are now still basically trying to regret their votes, many of them. Okay, let me read some of these comments. Have the Democrats put out anything for the Black American? Cal, let me tell you something. Instead of asking me a question, why don't you ask yourself a question? Why don't you ask yourself, were you in worse shape when the Democrats were in charge, or are you in worse shape now? Okay? Why don't you ask yourself, why in the hell we're no longer part of WHO, and all these 4,000 plus people were fired from the CDC, and we have a whole contagious virus out here right now that's a danger to anybody who catches it because there's no cure. Okay, and Donald Trump doesn't even know what the hell's going on. Okay, ask yourself about that. Was that going on during Biden when the Democrats were in charge? Okay, why don't you ask yourself that? See, it's easy for you to sit here and gaslight and deflect and try to justify your own self by saying, oh, well, what did the Democrats do? Well, what did the Republicans do first? Because they're in charge right now. What did they do? So because they didn't do it, the Democrats didn't do what you think they should have done, so just let the Republicans stay in there and ruin the country? Gas prices will be $5 a gallon by next week, likely. Okay? So anyway, with that all being said, I really don't care who you vote for, honey. You don't have to explain yourself to me. That's what you don't have to do. Okay? That's what you don't have to do. Now, well, here's the thing. So since y'all are saying DJ Big Six says the Democrats allowed it, what did they allow? What did they allow? Cal says, Queen, I'm paying $5.25 a gallon right now. Well, keep paying it, because obviously you don't mind. So don't complain. DJ Big Six, I have several questions. Vince I am says it's vital to use critical thinking, logic, common sense over feelings, opinions, and emotions. Vince, honey, that's good advice, but it's sad to say, at the end of the day, more than half the people in the chat probably can't do that. Probably more than half the people in the chat probably can't do that. And you know why? Because sadly, most Black people are so obtuse that all they do is think about their feelings. You see, Black people, for the most part, this is a fact. Most Black people do not tend collectively to ever use logic. And that's why we stay on the bottom. Okay, that's why we stay on the bottom. Here you have Robert joking, saying Kamala listens to Tupac. Okay, this is no time for jokes and games. I'm being very serious. And see, the problem with y'all Negroes is some of y'all are out here on the playground acting like this is a damn game, while these other folk who don't look like us are on the battlefield getting ready for war. While some of y'all are out here saving up money to go to the club on the weekends and buy your newest lace front and get your nails done, okay, or out here buying your skinny jeans for some of you dudes and your sneakers and all of that, you should be out here buying bulletproof vests. You should be out here stacking up on ammunition and weaponry if you're not a convicted felon and you have a license to carry, and if you don't, then you should get one. Because when it all goes down, you're going to be lacking. Okay? Your lace front looking good is not going to save you. All right? Nobody's going to say, oh, she's so cute. Look at her lace front. We're not going to jump on her. That's not going to happen. When the ish hits the fan and people out here start acting like it's a purge or they're in the Hunger Games, okay, you can be draped in jewels from head to toe and thinking you look good, but none of that's going to matter when it's time to do battle. And y'all can sit up here and keep cracking silly ass jokes and try to be funny and all of the above and stay stuck on stupid on the playground if you want to. While the rest of us intellectual Negroes, we're going to be prepared for war, because you never know what's going to pop off. Okay? Yeah, that's right, Robert. I said your skinny jeans. That's right. So sit down somewhere, okay? Because like I told y'all need to be trying to get y'all stuff together. Sitting up here still talking about Kamala washing her collard greens in the bathtub. We know what she did. But what does that have to do with all the BS that Trump has us going through right now? Okay? Y'all better wake up and smell the coffee. That's what y'all need to do. Now, let me continue with what I was saying, okay? Because I don't have time for it. Some of y'all is slower than tortoises, and y'all gonna have to F around and find out. Don't come crying to the queen when you do. All right? And don't say I didn't warn you. Let me put my overlay on this so we can see what Mr. Ben Masalis has to say.
Kamala Harris is finally surfacing to speak out loudly with moral clarity against Donald Trump. This is what we've been waiting for, folks. She spoke in Las Vegas about Donald Trump's catastrophic and unlawful war in Iran, Donald Trump's con job telling the Americans during the campaign that he was going to make their lives so much better, so much more affordable. But at every step, Donald Trump has made things so much worse. And former Vice President Kamala Harris just said, look, when it comes to Donald Trump, it is all bullshit. That's what his entire life is. Watch what she says here. Play this clip.
You look at this war in Iran, which the American people do not want, which was not authorized by conference, but even if it was, it should not have been initiated. He talked about obliterating, and then he said, oh, he did. It's all just bullshit. You made me do that. I promise I'm not going to curse in public anymore.
We're in a room amongst friends.
You made me do that. She was up here, just say it.
Yeah, former Vice President Kamala Harris bringing the house down there. Then she talked about how for most Americans right now, the American dream is dead. It is no longer real. And people like Donald Trump are the ones who have killed it. And this is also reflected as well in those consumer sentiment numbers, right? University of Michigan, which does those consumer sentiment reports on Friday, it showed the worst consumer sentiment in the history of the consumer sentiment survey. Here's what Kamala Harris said in Vegas. Let's play it.
Look, for far too many people in our country, the American dream is not real. And in fact, for many people in their lived experience, it's what they would consider an American myth. And we have to be honest about that.
More from Kamala Harris right here, where she says, under the Trump regime, America has become unreliable in the world, unpredictable. We don't have any friends anymore. Those who should depend on us can no longer. America first has been America alone.
You know, when I look at what's happening, in addition to all of that, and because of it, we are losing. America has become more unreliable. We've become unreliable to our friends. Unreliable as a friend. To the young leaders here, you don't want to ever be an unreliable friend. And
okay, likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Let's go to the next clip.
You may have heard by now. Kamala Harris is finally investigating the 2024 election. Did she really lose? Most of us don't believe that. We know better. Yeah. So finally, yeah, it should have happened almost 2 years ago, or 2 years ago, really. It should have happened because it looked really suspicious right from the start. That election was called way too early.
Okay, so clearly she thinks that Trump shouldn't have won.
So this is juicy. Apparently, Kamala Harris is now saying, hey, you remember that post-election report that the Democrats ordered and then buried? Yeah, I think we should release that. This was reported in MSNBC, and it is not an official Harris quote, but it's a report of someone who has heard her saying it. As she's out there doing her book tour, she's casually stumping for 2028. She's talking to donors. She's talking to political people in the know, getting insight and advice about should she run for 2028? What are the pros and cons here? Now, from what it sounds like in this article, it sounds like she's getting a lot of pushback from people who don't really understand what happened in 2024. And she's tired of hearing nonsense. That's my.
Let me tell you all something. As soon as Kamala came out and did the interview days ago, MAGA immediately took to the internet and started talking trash. Okay, they are so mad. They are so mad that she's even being spoken about. And I love when MAGA's
The
ticked off.
Supreme Court threw a devastating blow, right? Hammering the Voting Rights Act. How do you think that's going to play into the midterm elections?
I think it's going to have a profound effect. The midterms, why did they come down with this decision so early? To give all those states, you see what's happened, Mississippi, Tennessee most recently, Louisiana, so they could pull together what they need to do around redrawing their lines. You saw just what happened in Tennessee. To redraw those lines, to get those ballots printed for the midterms. Understand what's happening.
So last week, the Supreme Court threw a devastating blow.
Okay, so now with that all being said, let's talk about it. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Let's talk about exactly what this all means. Kamala Harris backs releasing the DNC's 2024 election autopsy despite leadership burying the report. Now, here's the question. Why did they bury it? If they went through the trouble of investigating this and gathered all this information, why did they bury the report? That makes no sense. Natasha, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. So here's what they say. Former Vice President Kamala Harris supports the idea of releasing the Democratic National Committee's 2024 election report despite party leadership refusing to release it. Now, as former Vice President Kamala Harris considers another run for president, she's also signaling that she has no problem with a public airing of what went wrong last time, telling donors that she believes the Democratic National Committee should release its buried autopsy of her failed 2024 campaign, according to a person who has heard the conversations. Now, they gave this information to NBC News First on Thursday. Now, the report came after DNC Chair Ken Martin repeatedly dodged requests from within his own political party to release the report on where Democrats failed in the last presidential election. NBC News also clarified that Harris has not discussed her opinion with Martin, despite discussing the report with donors. They say while she indicated to donors that she had no issue with releasing it, Harris has not discussed the postmortem with DNC Chairman Ken Martin and did not know about his decision to keep it under wraps until it happened. Okay, that's what a source said. So, like I said, my question is, why would they have want to bury the report? If you're going to take the time out and actually file a report and all of that, why would you want to hide it? So anyway, so basically what this all means by her requesting this, it's basically, it means basically after the dust settled from the 2024 presidential election, the Democrats found themselves staring at a political wreckage, okay, that few in the party had expected, obviously. And so the loss to Donald Trump's ridiculous self, okay, who's clearly unqualified and incompetent, this made them all be thrust into a panic, basically, okay. It triggered panic, finger pointing, okay, and then, people had questions all across Washington. And so behind closed doors, party strategists, donors, and officials started assembling what insiders called an autopsy report. So this is a detailed examination of how the campaign of Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party failed to hold the White House. Okay, so basically like where they went wrong, certain questions answered, what were they lacking in? What areas did they not hold up to par? Okay, so the report was basically designed to answer painful questions. Why did key battleground states slip away? Why did some working class voters drift toward Trump? Why did Democratic messaging fail to connect in crucial moments? What about campaign spending, media appearances, turnout operations, and leadership decisions? These were all reportedly placed under the microscope. These are the things that they focus on when they're putting together this sort of report. But now, as rumors about the contents of the report spread through political circles, there was another controversy that came about. Okay, and that was whether the public would ever see it. Now, some Democratic leaders were said to prefer keeping the findings private, keeping it all under wrap. Okay, worried that the report could expose internal divisions or place blame on powerful key figures within the party. Critics feared that it might become ammunition for Republicans or spark civil war among Democrats preparing for the future. And so then came reports that Harris herself supported releasing the document. Now, to many observers, that was significant because her stance suggested a willingness to confront the loss openly rather than bury it behind party walls. Supporters viewed it as an attempt at transparency and accountability, an acknowledgement that Democrats could not rebuild without honesty and without honestly examining their own previous mistakes. Others saw a more strategic calculation. By backing the release, Harris could demonstrate confidence, shape the narrative around the defeat, and avoid appearing defensive if damaging details eventually leaked anyway. So in politics, the word autopsy sounds dramatic, I'm sure, but it's common after major losses and defeats. Parties, after all, didn't Trump say he won by a whole landslide, the silly self? Please. But parties use these reports basically to diagnose what went wrong and try to figure out how they can recover, what they can do better the next time to secure the victory. Republicans famously conducted a similar review after losing the 2012 election, and now Democrats appear to be going through their own reckoning. So when people say Kamala Harris is questioning or requesting the 2024 election autopsy report, basically she's trying to see, she's talking about a battle over having a battle over transparency and accountability, and see which direction she needs to go in, if in fact she does decide to run in 2028. Okay, so what do y'all think? Jamma said no check, no vote. Well, you're going to never be voting then, beloved. Sad to say, you're going to never be voting because y'all are not getting any checks, okay? Listen, I don't know what type of let me see. I don't know how to break it to you all. Listen, if these people have gutted the Voting Rights Act, if they have literally made it illegal in Tennessee for interracial marriages, okay, when a black man won and they removed the office to keep him from taking office, when they're doing this kind of stuff, what makes any of you foolishly think that you're going to get reparations? You're not. You're not. They're not giving us reparations. That should be obvious at this point. And just because you keep saying it and begging for it doesn't mean it's going to happen. These people are doing everything in their power. They literally just sat there at the UN weeks ago, this country that we live in, where our ancestors were enslaved. They literally sat in a meeting weeks ago, and they were one of 3 countries, one of 3 out of all the countries in the world, one of 3. The country you live in that you keep begging for reparations that you're never going to get. They literally voted against, saying that chattel slavery was one of the worst human atrocities ever. They literally wouldn't say it. And you know why they wouldn't say it? Because the minute they say that and agree to it, then they know that they're on the hook. They know that they owe us something, and they're never going to admit that. They would rather, as they have proven, give reparations to those who owned slaves after slavery was over. That's what they were doing. You are begging. You can say whatever you want, but if you keep asking for something that you never get, but yet you keep asking, you are absolutely begging. Look up the definition. You can call it what you want, but that's what it is, Claudette. That's exactly what it is. And you don't have to vote. Like I said, if you don't vote, then you want to keep the Republicans in charge. And that's just what it is. Everyone should be locally voting, period. Because, like I said, I feel like they select the presidents themselves. But the bottom line is your local elections, everybody should absolutely be voting. And you should be trying to make sure that the people you vote for are not receiving any money from APAC. With that all being said, Craig says the Democrats are trying to give the illegals reparations. When did they do this? Hold on. Let's fact check you. Hold on. Representative Pramila Jayapal has called for reparations for families and children who were separated and traumatized by immigration enforcement under previous administrations. Focus on compensation. These proposals focus on financial compensation for individuals impacted by the enforcement of immigration laws. These people aren't getting any damn reparations either. Okay? Yeah, she is, but she's not going to get any. How about that? She can say that all she wants. They said the same thing about the people in California. Don't y'all remember? They said they were trying to get reparations for the people in California and they never got them. They said they were trying to get reparations for the people in Tulsa and they never got them. So just because somebody says they're trying to get reparations for a group of people does not mean they're going to get it. And I can tell you right now, with Trump in office, the only people who would get any reparations would be BB's people. BB's people. That's it. That's it. The last people you should be worried about. Here's the thing. So, would you prefer? Let me ask you all something. Would you all prefer this? I said it's all BS. It absolutely is. Now, here's the question. Jay Bart says the Electoral College elects the president. You can change local elections. Exactly. Okay. Buckhurst DC says anti-black hate crime bill is our reparations. Well, that wouldn't be reparations if we got one, but we don't have that either. But that darn sure would be the reparations, in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't look at that as a gift or something that, like they did us a favor. It's a shame that we need one in the first place, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue. Okay, let's continue. And here's the thing I want you all to think about too. Trump and all these lies that he told. Hold on. Hold on. Let's take a look back in time. Let's go back to one moment in time and look at what Trump said previously. And then let's look at what Kamala said previously.
You'd have to be one dumb son bitch to vote for that Kamala Harris. You do know if Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States, gasoline's going to go over $4 a gallon. Groceries are going to go sky high, and we're going to be at war with Iran within 1 to 2 years. That's why we got to get Donald J. Trump in there, because you Democrats are ruining this country. Donald J. Trump already said that he's going to bring grocery prices down on day one, as soon as he steps in that office. Then gasoline's going to come down to $2 a gallon. There's not going to be no more wars, because he's going to negotiate, because he knows how to negotiate with these other countries, peace through negotiation. Then he's going to cut energy bills in half. That's 50% if you don't know how to do math. He's doing everything I want him to do, and that's who I'm voting for, Donald J. Trump. You really think I voted for President Donald J. Trump for $2
Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Nene says they gave the agents a hate crime bill, so we know the Democrats can do it if they want to. Did they give the agents a hate crime bill, beloved? Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. Let me tell y'all something. So here's the thing. When they did that hate crime bill, didn't they try to say that it was for everybody after we started going in on them? Didn't they try to say that it was for everybody? The COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act that was signed into law May the 20th of 2021 to address the rise in violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Okay, it was passed with an overwhelming bipartisan support in Congress. Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. I'm gathering receipts here. So now here's the tricky part of it. Listen. Now, we know they did it for the Asians, but here's what they say. The law was designed to protect everyone, though it was passed in response to the specific surge in anti-Asian violence. While the title emphasizes COVID-19, the bill's provisions apply broadly to all hate crimes. To ensure it covered all Americans, Congress added the Jabara Hire No Hate Act as an amendment before passing the final bill. This addition expanded the law's reach to include all protected groups. It specifically aimed to improve reporting and support for hate crimes against people of color, religious minorities, immigrants, the LGBTQ community, and people with disabilities. Okay, you, beloved, would fall under people of color. General Hate Crime Review. It directs the Department of Justice to expedite the review of all hate crimes, not just those tied to the pandemic. Then, broad victim resources. The law provides grants for state-run hotlines and support services that are available to any victim of a hate crime. Inclusive reporting. By funding better data collection for law enforcement, the Act helps track and respond to bias-motivated violence against all communities. Okay? Now, here's the question, though. Here's the thing, though. Omo Wale says Queen is a naysayer. We have had them before. Where are they now in history? Where is who now in history? Where is who now in history? And here's the thing, you could say I'm a naysayer, but I could say the same of you. Because we both are obviously saying nay about two different things. I might be against something and you could be for it, or vice versa. So either way, for you to call me a naysayer, I could say you're a naysayer too. So I don't see your point. All it means is we disagree. And you don't have to agree with me. That's the point. Okay? You don't have to agree with me. That's the point. But as I said, that was supposedly to cover everybody, though it came up for the Asians. I mean, that's their story and they're sticking to it. Now, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with, but I'm just saying that's what it says. Michael says, all that you read, Queen, may be true, but it doesn't work for our community because our law is not effective prosecuted. Well, here's the thing. So even if they got us a hate crime bill, do you think it would be affected? Or do you think if the police wanted to beat the crap out of us, or some racist Klan members wanted to try to lynch one of us, do you think that would stop them from doing it? Dorada said, Queen, scroll back up to their person's previous comment. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, we know that we can't count on any of these people. The only ones we can count on, hell, we can't even count on ourselves because we're too divided. But the bottom line is you have to pick, you need to at least be concerned about your local elections and trying to ensure that you pick the people that are best for your own interest, and that you make sure that they're not being served any APAC money. Now, that's my advice to you. I'm not sure what comment you're talking about. Thank you, Myron, beloved. I appreciate you. MAGA, the highest degree in the Church of Satan. Is that what that is, Mr. Midnight Decipher? Is that what that stands for? Said I absolutely participate in my local elections. Absolutely, I do too. Okay, start locally and then branch out, in my opinion, says RG Titan. Okay, XX Frank Nitty says we are divided. Exactly. Exactly. Hold on, I'm looking for a comment, you guys, and then I'm gonna move forward. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Hold on. Amma Waletz, the elder, said, Queen, did we beg for slavery to end? Did we beg for segregation to end? I'm disappointed in you, Queen. You are not representative of your name. I mean, listen, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. Okay, and you're entitled to it. But you can get mad all you want because I disagree with you. And here's the thing. Did we beg for slavery to end? At the end of the day, no, we didn't. Did we beg for segregation to end? Yeah, we did. We did beg for segregation to end. Yeah, you did. That's why our ancestors were out there marching. They wanted segregation to end because they wanted to be near to the white folk because they thought the white man's ice was colder. Yeah, they did beg for segregation to end. What are you talking about? That's what the whole civil rights movement was basically about. Begging for segregation to end so they could integrate into the white society, which was a damn mistake. And Dr. Martin Luther King realized it. That's why he said he led his people into a burning house. And if you look around and you see right now that we're still historically in a worse predicament because of it. Yes, they begged for segregation to end. Yes, they did. Okay, so now if you're upset that that's what I say, just remember that you asked the question. Okay, so don't be disappointed in the answer. And then you say you're disappointed in me. None of you should ever be disappointed in me because anything that I say or do does not have to impact your lives, only if you allow it to. So if you don't know someone in real life, however could they do anything that should disappoint you? That lets me know that you're just putting too much stake in people. Okay, other than yourself. Okay, because none of you all can disappoint me, please. All right, because for one, I don't set expectations. All right, that's what I don't do. That's what I don't do. Now, with that all being said, I guess you told me, honey, talking about did we beg for segregation? Then you wrote it in all caps like you were really going in or yelling. Did we beg for it? Yeah, we did beg for it. Yep, we did beg for it. And I'll tell you what, some of the ancestors tried to escape slavery and to gain freedom, and then some of them were raccoons and snitched on them. So what's your point? We got good Black people who will fight and be revolutionaries, and we got some who are scared to death Negroes. That's the way it's always been, the way it's unfortunately always going to be. Okay, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Now, if you don't think that you're begging for reparations, that's your position and your prerogative. I feel like if you keep asking for something and you don't get it and you don't even see any signs of getting it, but yet you keep asking for it, and even if you want to say you're demanding, you don't get it, at some point that's begging. Okay, at some point it is, and that's just my opinion. I don't care who's mad. I said what I said. Okay, I said what I said. You don't have to agree with me. That's the good news about it. Because on this channel, we welcome contrary opinions. Because no matter what anybody else thinks, I'm going to stand on what I think, period. Okay? Now, when you get some reparations, then we can have another conversation. But until then, and I can give you a serious reason why we're not getting them too. Robert said, you disappoint me every day, Queen. Still waiting on that phone number. Robert, if you don't sit down somewhere, if you don't sit down somewhere, okay? Oma Wale, the elder says, Queen, I am not beat unless you have a call-in line. I'm not going to keep typing in the chat. You don't need to keep typing in the chat because I'm not going to keep reading it. And no, I don't have a call-in line, and I'm not dropping any links right now because I don't feel like it. Now, maybe tomorrow I'll feel like it, and then I might drop it. But right now, I'm trying to move on. Y'all not going to have me on here all darn day. Now, let's continue.
The American dream is not real.
So it seems like the new talking point for all of the Republicans is imagine how bad it would be if Kamala Harris was in power. And the thing is, we don't have to imagine how bad anything would be. We can just turn on the news or walk out our front door or go try to fill up our gas tanks, and we already see how bad it is.
It's all just bullshit.
And it's getting worse. It's getting worse day by day. We don't have to imagine how bad something would be when we're already there. That's like telling somebody in hell, hey, imagine how bad hell would be if you actually went to like the 9th level and they're on level 8. Like they're already there, girl. The American dream? It's all just
bullshit.
Let's just be real. The American dream doesn't exist. It never existed for people who look like me in the first place, but it doesn't exist at all anymore. It's really just a whole load of
bullshit.
Okay, he thinks he's funny. He's a comedian. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, we're in peril right now, okay? We have a bunch of drunkards in charge. Okay, we have to worry about Cash Patel, Keg's breath. And then, oh, you all do remember that Judge Janine, she was looking like she was drunk. Okay, her speech is often slurred, so I have questions. But then let's not forget how House Speaker Mike Johnson, aka MAGA Mike, how that time his chief of staff, okay, was charged with DUI. Do you all remember that? How are all of these drunkards in power? How are all of these drunkards in power? I just have several questions. Okay. And then, like I said, we have this whole antivirus thing going on. We have nobody really knowing what to do about it because half of CDC's been fired. Okay. A third of their staff. The people who inspect the ships, that's gone, defunded, even though that wasn't even paid for with taxpayer money. That wasn't even paid for with taxpayer money at the end of the day. But let's go to this clip. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
The response in 2019 was bad. Wait till you see what experts are saying about this administration's response to the hantavirus, where Dr. Jean Marazzo, Chief Executive Officer of the Infectious Disease Society of America, goes on to state that the hantavirus outbreak is a sentinel event that speaks to how well the country is prepared for a disease threat. And right now, I'm very sorry to say, we are not prepared. You know, at least in 2019, there were a few people, a few adults in the room. There are no guardrails currently in this administration. And it looks like the CDC is just taking a backseat to everything and everyone else. I mean, are they even forcing the few Americans that were coming back off of that cruise ship? Are they even forcing them to quarantine? Oh, we don't know because our own CDC has not had a press conference yet, trying to calm the public or, you know, giving us advice and instruction. You know, it's almost like they want all of this to happen. Kind of funny, the two Americans that were on that cruise ship, one just is happening to go back to Texas and then one to California. You know, two super dry climates where I'm sure just about any infectious disease could survive.
Okay, I'm telling you, this is all jacked up. Okay, this is all so crazy at the end of the day. And like I said, this is all thanks to Trump. All those people that he had fired, having us taken out of the World Health Organization, all the idiotic things that he did, having Elon in charge, okay, of Doge, cutting all of these needed programs. And now we're suffering the consequences and the effects of it all. Okay, so I'm going to play one more clip, then we're out of here. This is an old clip of Kamala from, well, not really old, but it's from like a month ago when Kamala was talking about Trump. And she mentioned BB.
Entered a war got pulled into it by Bibi Netanyahu, let's be clear about that, entered a war that the American people do not want, putting at risk American service members. And among the many consequences of it, it includes jacking up the cost of gas so that on average Americans are paying at least $15 more to fill up their tank. When I served as Vice President of the United States, I met with over 150 world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, chancellors, and kings. Many of them multiple times, and I formed relationships. I have spent countless hours in the Situation Room, in my West Wing office in the White House, and steps down the hall in the Oval Office. And I will tell you, this president is the first president of the United States of either party since World War II to abandon America's responsibility to one, a responsibility we assumed, imperfect though we are, to nurture and protect our alliances, our friendships, and to thumb his nose at them. And two, to not even pretend and in fact dismiss the importance of upholding international rules and norms, such as sovereignty and territorial integrity. And the end result, because I know we have limited time, is this. What he has done is he has won, in the eyes of our allies, made us unreliable. Unreliable. And two, he has eroded whatever influence we had to be able to speak to certain issues, imperfect though we know we have been.
I can tell you right now, that's all true. Trump has us looking real crazy. These other country leaders do not, the other countries' leaders do not have respect for the United States. Definitely not for Donald Trump. They don't trust him. He's unreliable. They don't take him at his word because he lies pathologically. And he's only self-centered. He's very unpredictable, and that is a dangerous person. So no, these other nations' leaders absolutely don't trust him, and they don't want to do business with him, even those who have given him gifts like the Saudis and Qatar. Now even they're second guessing. Now even the Saudis didn't even want to let the U.S. on their bases. Okay? So he has turned allies into foes. And he has completely ruined the economy and now begging for the same deal that Obama already had that he ripped up. Now, if you think that that's the type of BS you want to continue to go on and deal with, then, go right ahead. Just go right ahead. And don't think it's important to do your research, see who's getting money from AIPAC. Okay, don't think it's important specifically for your local elections and just sit on the couch and wait. Okay, and keep whining and crying. At the end of the day, the main ones who have something to say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Ask yourself that. If you're just sitting on the couch, well, that ain't nothing. That doesn't take anything to do that. Okay? So anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Lillian X says she will never have our best interest at heart, never. Well, here's the thing. What y'all need to wake up and realize is that none of these politicians have our best interest at heart. They don't. None of them have our best interest at heart. But at the end of the day, somebody is going to be leading the way in your district, period. So it's not time to have your feelings in this. Okay, it's not time to have your feelings in this. You can sit here and say that she's not going to have your best interest in heart, but the Republicans don't either. So if the Republicans don't have your best interest in heart and the Democrats don't have your best interest in heart, then what you need to be more worried about is which of the parties is going to do more aligned with what you need to be done. Do you need health care? Because you'll likely get health care with the Democrats because you've always had it with the Democrats. You won't have it and don't have it with the Republicans, or it's very expensive and most people can barely afford it, if at all. Okay, so I'm not telling you to trust any politicians because I don't trust any of them. At the end of the day, who said that any of them had our best interest in mind? The only person who should have your best interest in mind is you. And when you have your own best interest in mind, like I said, then you'll vote based on what party is going to be more aligned with your own interest. Do you want extremely high gas prices and wars that nobody needs? Because did we have wars under Biden? We had the Afghanistan war, but that was going on for 20 years. But at the end of the day, was Biden out here starting wars? Was the economy as bad as it is now? Where there's so much racial tension, where people getting murdered in the streets while peacefully protesting? Were they snatching up people because they claim they don't look like they belong here? Because you know there's some Black people that may not look like they belong here either. So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, everybody needs to do what's best for them. And don't worry about politicians doing what's best for you. You have to do what's best for yourself. That's how that goes. If you're sitting here waiting for politicians to come and save us, then you're just going to be sitting there waiting, because we should already know that ship has already sailed. And so has the one for reparations, sadly. Now, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. I may come back later. I'm not sure. If so, it'll be around 7:30 or 8. But if not, I will definitely see you all in the morning for your morning wake-up call. Until next time, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got